Ever wondered how you actually go from knowing just the basics of AI to building a real working application? Well, today we're going to break down an intensive 8-week AI program to map out that exact journey, from day one all the way to a project you can actually deploy. Let's dive in.
Okay, it all kicks off with this number, 32. That's the total number of live instructor-led hours packed into this program. You can see it's a really focused sprint, right? It's all designed for maximum impact in a pretty short amount of time.
And the goal here is, well, it's seriously ambitious. This is not about just reading textbooks. The whole point is to build something tangible. The entire curriculum is laser-focused on taking you from the ground floor all the way to a portfolio-ready project you can actually show off to people.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth do they structure this to make that happen in just 8 weeks? How do you get from the fundamentals to a final working project? Let's break it down, part by part.
The whole journey is really split into 3 big phases. So we're going to start with part 1, building the foundation. Think of these first 4 weeks as your boot camp for mastering all the essential tools and concepts. Everything else is going to be built right on top of this.
So here's a quick look at that foundation phase. You kick things off with the absolute basics, getting your tools in Python sorted. Then you jump straight into supervised learning, then more advanced models, and finally you crack open the door to deep learning. Let's get into the details a bit.
In week 1, it is all about getting set up for success. Defining those core terms like AI, machine learning, deep learning, and getting your hands dirty with Python's workhorse libraries, NumPy and Pandas. Then, by week 2, and this is fast, you are already building your first machine learning models for things like regression and classification. The key here is you are building from day 1.
Weeks 3 and 4 are where you really start to level up. You move past the basic models into some really powerful stuff like XGBoost, which is a huge deal in the competitive scene, and you start mastering feature engineering. And then, week 4, that's a major milestone. It's your first real dive into deep learning, getting your head around neural networks and building them with a framework like PyTorch.
And hey, since we just brought it up, let's just quickly define what we're talking about. Deep learning? It's basically a type of machine learning that uses these artificial neural networks with tons of layers. This lets them learn super complex patterns from massive amounts of data. Honestly, this is the tech behind so many of the biggest AI breakthroughs we see today.
Okay, so with that solid foundation in place, the program shifts gears into part 2, reaching the cutting edge. This is where you take those fundamentals and start applying them to some of the most exciting and modern areas of AI.
And this part is just a whirlwind tour of the AI frontier. You're going to tackle computer vision, then dive headfirst into natural language processing and large language models, and you cap it all off with generative AI and a really important conversation about ethics.
What I love about this is how it's all about action. You see, you're not just learning about computer vision, you're building AIs that can actually see. You're not just reading about large language models, you are working with transformer models like BERT and GPT. It's all about hands-on, practical application.
And speaking of transformers, let's define that. A transformer is this super advanced neural network architecture. Its secret sauce is something called self-attention, which lets it figure out which words in a sentence are the most important. This is the absolute bedrock of pretty much every modern large language model you've ever heard of.
And it all leads up to this, part 3, the Capstone Showcase. Week 8 is the grand finale. It's where you take every single thing you've learned, from Python basics to those advanced transformer models, and you pour it all into one big, impressive portfolio project.
And look at the kinds of things you could build. A chatbot for a company, an app that generates new images, a tool that summarizes articles using an LLM. You could even build something to detect bias in other AI models. The whole idea is to create something that has real-world value.
This quote from a past student, Priya, just says it all. She said, "In just 2 months, I went from understanding ML basics to fine-tuning transformers and deploying my own app." I mean, that's the kind of transformation we're talking about. It's just incredible.
Of course, you can't go on a journey like this without the right gear. So let's talk about the AI toolkit you'd be working with. And this isn't just about the tech, it's also about the support systems that help you succeed. On the tech side, you're using the exact same stuff the pros use. Python is your main language. NumPy and Pandas are for wrangling data. Scikit-learn is your go-to for classical machine learning.
PyTorch is for deep learning, and then there's the amazing Hugging Face library, which gives you access to all the latest and greatest transformer models.
And you'll be coding in places like Google Colab, using Git and GitHub for version control, which is an absolute must-have skill. And then you actually learn to deploy your projects as simple web apps with tools like Streamlit, so literally anyone can see and play with what you've built. But look, it is not just about the code. The support system is just as critical. We're talking live coding labs, weekly office hours for one-on-one help, guest lectures from people in the industry, and even a fun little mini hackathon to spice things up. It's an entire ecosystem designed to make sure you never get stuck.
So after seeing this whole roadmap laid out, we get to the big question. Is this journey right for you? Let's do a quick check to see who this is really designed for.
This program is really perfect for a few groups: students who are aiming for a career in AI, professionals who are looking to switch into data science, or developers who just want to add AI to their skill set. And what do you need to bring to the table? Well, just some basic Python skills, a little bit of linear algebra and probability, and some comfort with data structures.
And this chart just sums it all up beautifully, doesn't it? Half of your time is spent building that rock-solid foundation. About 35% is dedicated to specializing in those cutting-edge areas. And that final, crucial 15%? That's all for your capstone project, where you pull everything together. So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. This whole thing is a structured, hands-on sprint. The final goal isn't just knowledge. It's a real, tangible AI project for your portfolio that you can use to kickstart the next chapter of your career.
Which really just leaves one last thought. Now that you've seen the entire map laid out, from that first line of Python code to a fully deployed app, what AI project would you want to build first?